Rhi. It's going down in a few more seconds. Relentlessly Real Podcast. Let's go.
What's up, fam? It's your boy, Dr. Mike, and it's almost that time to get real, raw, and relatable. Looking forward to talking to y'all soon. Peace.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Terrence. Welcome back to another season of Relentlessly Real Podcast. So excited to have you all back. We got a lot of great stuff. Check us out.
You're now listening to The Real.
Man, I appreciate them dudes for talking about
The Raw.
Wait, they were talking about
The Relatable.
That's exactly what I've been going through.
The Relentlessly Real Podcast.
Welcome to the Relentlessly Real Podcast, where we discuss real, raw, and relatable topics. That's right. That's what we discuss. Real, raw, and relatable topics. I'm your host today. My name is John, and here are my comrades, my friends. Who are they?
Yes, it is I, Dr. Mike.
Yeah.
We're back at it, y'all.
Welcome back, Dr. Mike.
And I'm only here so I don't get fined. So
There we go. There we go.
Only here so I don't
Who
get-
said that? I forgot who said that.
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn
Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to forget. I was sitting there trying to think about that.
I could not remember what your sister had said, 'cause that was supposed to be my name this week, and I couldn't remember it because it was like 2 weeks ago.
Teference.
Was it?
It's Teference.
That joint was
Teference.
hilarious.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
Teference.
I'll be Teference next week. I remember.
I think it was good. I think it's a good name for you. I think going forward, you should consider maybe even changing your name through the state.
Teference.
Either Teference or Ference, just in general. I think Ference is more masculine.
Ference.
I think Teference is giving
here
me
we
I don't
go.
know my pronoun.
It's giving you
Teference
what?
is giving me I don't know my pronoun. Like Teference is that's what it's
If
giving.
that's what you think it's
I
giving,
don't
then
want to go to that. No,
okay.
no,
I'm
I-
just saying. I didn't
It's
say
not my plan.
anything.
Yeah.
I do have a question for the day for you guys. And here's my question. All right, you're at a concert with your girl, all right? And let's just, or your significant other, whatever. You're at the concert and your girl gets called on stage it's her favorite male artist. Your girl gets called on stage. It's not a Christian concert. This is I don't know, actual R&B, hip hop, whatever type of space. Your girl gets called on stage. Is it okay for your girl to dance seductively with her favorite artist on stage?
Fucking Robert Tussin. That's all I picture.
Is it okay for your girl to slowly grind on said artist? Now the artist is he is Chris Brown. It's her favorite artist. Let's just say it's Chris Brown. It's her favorite artist. Is it okay for your
artist? Oh, okay.
Not Chris Brown.
Oh wow, that's what we're doing. I tell you something.
John's like,
confident.
yes, girl.
Get it, boo.
Yes. Get him, girl.
We've waited all so long for this. Shut your mouth, Terrence. Anywho, I'm gonna call you Teference every time you get on my daggone nerves. But
all day long.
so yeah, what would you what do you say to that? Do you say that that's cool that your girl does that, or are you like, you know what? I think that's inappropriate and that makes you feel a way that you got on stage and just showed your behind like that.
So
What say y'all?
So why she got to do all the prerogative dancing and stuff like that? Why it can't be like the guy dancing on her type thing, or doing stuff?
Is that
like
okay?
Is that better?
I don't think that's better, Mike. I don't think I think it's also worse. Actually,
You think it's worse? You think it's worse?
you got to think about it. You got to stand there with the guy is making my girl go off face. So the whole time you just standing there as this man is making the whole crowd scream, and you got to stand there as a man and watch this happen.
I
so-
actually don't know what's worse though. I don't know what's worse.
Mike,
watch
how is
her
that
do
not
it.
worse to watch your man
Come on,
watch a man that makes way more money than we all make together collectively grind on your girl while you sit there looking at the
bro.
stage? That's better.
We not talking, Chippendales. We not talking Magic Mike slap on the
Basically the same
forehead
thing.
with elephant trunk type situation. We talking
Okay.
like it's a concert dance. You know what I'm saying? So and maybe it's just me. Maybe I haven't been to enough concerts
You have
of
it.
the like.
They
You know what
be
I'm saying?
taking.
To know
Have you
what go
seen
down.
Janet Jackson's concert stuff where she like got them?
Yeah.
Remember I showed you? I think we showed that on one episode
Yeah.
where the guy's like, "Oh my God, thank you Jesus, and Janet is like working this man out on stage, and the guy is like, "Oh my God, thank you Lord." Y'all remember
There
that?
was some concert that went viral where a girl peed on another girl on stage.
I don't think
I'll
I've heard
trust
of
it back
that.
to my list.
Yeah.
It went viral.
It was.
Like,
I remember seeing that. It was a little weird. It was a little weird.
was really
And then she
weird.
like kicked the dude. It was her peeing on another guy, and then she kicked the guy out. Told security was like, "Get this guy off my effing stage," and all this other stuff. Yeah, it was crazy. But nonetheless, let's get back to the the topic.
Right.
Question. Yeah. First of all, no, it wouldn't be okay. As a matter of fact, I'll be right there in the crowd with my super soaker full of holy water, and I'll be spraying it on the stage.
Super soaker. You'll need it. You will absolutely need it.
Why would you say that, God?
I'm just saying it's
yeah, you
it's-
can't. Yeah, I don't think I'm comfortable with. Yeah, like is this it?
this is one of
Oh,
them.
it's Janet.
Go ahead.
Janet.
Go ahead, T.
Man.
Make your point.
Yeah,
Yeah. This is your girl getting strapped to the, to the count, and you're just watching. You're sitting there as a fan.
Chris Brown not fitting to tie my girl up. Like,
And he's
like,
going off. Look at this dude.
And then look, what's worse is that with your girl the whole time is screaming like he is. He's like, "Oh my God, thank you, Jesus." You're sitting there at the concert like, "Wow, I brought you here for Valentine's Day. This is what you're gonna do."
I never knew.
and John, how many times has this video been viewed?
This video has been viewed 185,000 times.
Yeah, he's probably 184,999 himself. He has watched this over and over.
You can relive it. Yeah.
I'm just saying, are we cool with this? Are we cool with this? You gonna let that happen? No, not happening.
No.
That's
Okay.
No,
That's crazy.
I'm not trying to like. Yeah.
That don't make me laugh. Just thinking about that in general.
Yo.
So I'm sorry, T. You said you had a question today as well.
Yeah. So I sent you the video. I just put it in the thing.
Okay.
Because my question is and why he's loading up. So imagine you I saw that somebody sent me this. You in the market, you're just shopping, minding your business, and then somebody comes through and says, "Yeah, can you record me real quick?" And then
this
is what happens.
Are
Like,
you ready?
What do you do?
What would you do? All right, here we go.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Today, I'm gonna bust a nut on camera.
Oh, here you go.
Huh? No. You don't want to record me?
No.
Okay. Recording? Yeah. Thanks, man. Today, I'm gonna bust a nut on camera.
Okay. These people are getting out of hand with these pranks, bruh. This is ridiculous.
You a grown man, so
This is ridiculous. Yeah. Of course not, Terrence.
He's like,
Terrence.
quickly.
You're 5. You're 5 years old. You're 5 years old.
I made the video. He said, "Here you go." These pranks, they are getting out of hand.
Hey.
So here's my question. My real question today is,
Mhm.
what is there a prank that is just too far? Like, too far. At least she spelled my name right. Thank you, Alita.
Ooh, okay.
Is there a prank that's too far?
Yeah.
Exhibit A, like the one
Right.
you just
Yeah.
showed.
Of course
Like, just
there is.
imagine that. Like, you sitting here recording, it's like, excuse me, sir. You said you want to do what?
But he didn't really do it.
Yeah.
He would have.
The prank for that one is just the fact that I'm saying it. But I've seen a lot of these prank videos, like like that have gone like viral. Where like I mean, I've seen people get like beat up like.
Oh yeah.
Deals. Like
yo, it's a prank. It's a prank. Black eye. Like
no,
yeah.
I've seen one where it's like that, where the guy is like, "Yo, do you want to get like hit homie or something like that?" I forget how they word it, but they say it in the kind of way like they stepping up to black guys, and then like some black guys, like one black guy pulled up and took a gun out on dude.
Yeah.
I saw that joke.
See?
So
See,
you can't take it too far because next thing you know, somebody might really take it to that level.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, it's like pranks in the hood. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's called like pranks in the hood. Like these like white guys or whatever it was, we try to perform in pranks in the hood. And it's like, nah, bro, like these people live this stuff. Like they live it. Like
I remember that viral or not viral post when people was doing like TikToks and stuff about like you would fake like you trying to be a martial artist and try to dodge the or disarm the dude with the gun, and next thing you know it snaps to being in front of the pearly gates. Like what happened?
Oh yeah. I saw that.
That's what's going to happen on the
that's
pranks.
literally what's happening.
So my next question is this: how many times do you wear your clothes before washing them? I'll say it again. How many times do you wear your clothes before washing them? I got that from this video right here. There we go.
Back home. So now we've got our clothes. Here's a question. This should be interesting.
I know we talked about this already. I'm ready.
How often do you wear your clothes before washing them?
What do you mean, how often?
So, like, do you wear jeans multiple times? And I say yes.
Jeans are different.
I wear jeans a couple of times.
Jeans you can wear a few times. I even have the kids wearing their jeans a couple of times if they don't like.
Yeah, because otherwise it's a waste.
Okay, how about pajamas?
I shower at night, so I'll wear my pajamas for like 3 nights before I switch into
3
the
nights?
I shower at night. I'm wearing clean.
But after you take a shower, you're still rolling around in those jammies. You get all your dead skin cells.
The average person perspires a cup of sweat every night.
At night?
At night.
And I know you perspire.
I smell them and they smell like the soap from the night before.
That's in your mind.
Well, I think it also depends on how much you sweat.
And you sweat.
How do you? No, I don't. I'm always cold. My hands are ice cold right now.
Well, that's because it's what's in your veins is ice cold.
So how many times or how many days do you? Because I thought it was interesting that she said about the pajamas thing. Like I never even thought about pajamas, and then it led me to the idea of, well, how often do you wash your washcloth? Because that's the one.
Here we go.
Because when you talk about washcloths and how many times you wash your washcloth, that's when things get dicey. Are you throwing bacteria back onto your face? Right? Because I think what's happening, and let me also say this before I even go into this topic. I met a person that's checked out the show. Terrence knows what I'm about to say right now. Terrence knows what I'm about to say right now. I met a person this weekend hanging out with Terrence in the city who says she listens to the show. She's like, I don't agree with one thing you say, John. Not one thing. Everything you say is wrong. Everything. I've never met nobody that said that to me.
She said 100% of the things you say I disagree with.
Dang,
she said, I have never, she made sure to like look me in my eye and did not lose eye contact to say you are incorrect about 100% of the things you say on the show. So I say that with that is as the backdrop to this conversation. I don't even want to have an opinion because now I feel like no matter what I say, I'm wrong. But Terrence, what do you say to Terrence as far as your washcloth usage? How often should you wash your washcloth?
So I will reuse a towel. I will not reuse a washcloth. Like if anything, people know even like I have to have like 300 washcloths, and I'm never going to use 300 because I wash like at least once a week or once every week. I cannot reuse a washcloth. Now a towel, I feel bad. Now I ain't gonna lie, that towel might be up there like for a minute.
I feel like it's the same difference though, Terrence. It's the same difference.
No, because that towel ain't going up my ass. Like that washcloth. It's not the same thing. I'll just be honest. Like,
hold on. Go ahead. No, Mike, you go, Mike. I ain't gonna say nothing because I don't want nobody to disagree with me. Go ahead.
Dry off your whole body. You just walk around.
That towel. I'm not sticking with the towel.
He air dries.
Right over the vent. Right over the vent.
I'm not sticking the towel in my cheeks. Like I might go across the side.
Like a polar bear, Terrence?
Yeah. The towel's not going in my cheeks, yo.
What is happening right now? Let me say
he the one that
this.
stand over top of the heater in the bathroom. He stand on top of the heater.
Blow dry.
I think Terrence takes. I think Terrence takes an extra 20 minutes to air dry. I do.
Hey,
I do think he
call
takes
what
the
you
extra 20
want.
minutes to air dry. Because I don't know about y'all. I use 2 washcloths. Do y'all use 2 washcloths?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't.
That's tough.
That
I
is tough.
use one for my face and one for the rest of my body. Well, one for my face.
No,
I
I
agree.
now
I don't
get
use a washcloth
why.
on my face.
You said, hold on. What? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't use I forgot where I read that at, is that you should not use a washcloth on your face. So I don't.
The Baltimorean. That's what you wrote.
No, actually,
the Baltimore website.
I mean, it might have been, but maybe John Hopkins in Baltimore. This is probably the healthiest thing you can do. Like you can exfoliate, you could do, but I don't use washcloths on my face.
Well, what do you use to wash your face?
I would use like exfoliating things,
exfoliant.
like
yeah,
like on your face. I don't use a washcloth. I mean, like,
so I have.
So you don't
I have
put
like
soap and water on a cloth and
you're
wash
not
your
even
face
supposed
at
to.
all.
So I read you're not even supposed to use soap on your face.
I have never heard nothing you're saying.
I'm
right
trying
now.
to tell you, I've heard it. You're not supposed to use soap.
Because everything
on your
you say,
face.
John, is wrong. It's okay.
That's
forgot.
true.
I forgot.
And I believe it was particularly for African Americans, for us. We're not supposed to use soap on our face. So
because what?
Listen, don't ask me.
You read the article. Like you're the one making
it was also like I was in college. I haven't used it. Thank you, Khalida. Thank you. You're not supposed to use soap on your face.
All right, so everybody on here doesn't use soap and water on their face. Soap is not for
I have
the
an
face.
exfoliating
I do not
cloth
agree
that
with
I
this.
use on my face.
Yeah, you could use that.
Are y'all saying everybody here exfoliates? Even Terrence from Baltimore exfoliates? I don't even do that.
Stop coming for my city. Hey, John. Obviously, I'm pretty clean.
I see everybody saying they exfoliate. I don't know what's going on. I guess I got to do a whole different regimen tonight. I don't know what's going on, guys. I'm thinking I'm lost. I thought you guys are using soap and water. So y'all use exfoliation like cream or something? What am I missing?
Khalida is a certified skin analyst.
To be fair, I haven't gotten to that point yet. I still use regular soap on my face, but you know what I'm saying? I still got to get all the oils and stuff out with the exfoliating cloth. So I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to work on it, but I ain't there.
My face is probably filthy, just according to this conversation. I have a lot of work
John
to do.
said there was a whole Luther on his face. Like
No. You said Luther. I heard Luther the first time. Yo, that's funny. So
speaking of pajamas, like they brought that up. Like,
do you wear pajamas?
No.
See, I've seen you in a whole set like during Christmas
First
time.
of all, that just went to a whole new level.
I was about to say, what are we talking about?
I have lived with Terrence before.
John,
we all know this.
I need you to never mention on a podcast.
I don't care.
You saw me in a whole set. This was never. I don't even want to be on this episode.
We live together,
anymore.
Terrence. What are you talking about?
You are still going in.
Don't do this on YouTube or Facebook. You know what we shared in Baltimore, Maryland at an apartment.
That sounds even worse, John. I just at this point.
Okay, fine. Does it sound better for me to ask Mike? Does Mike wear pajamas?
Sure.
Mike, do you wear pajamas?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. So do I wear clothes at night? Yes. Do I wear pajamas in the wintertime? Sure. I mean, in the summertime, I'm like, man, sometimes it just gets way too hot. So yeah. Pajamas.
Has any of you guys ever worn a robe? Like a bathrobe?
Not to bed.
Not to bed, but I'm saying just in general in your lifetime.
Oh yeah, I have one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I
in your
actually
house?
had one when I was younger.
Yeah.
I had one when I was a
now.
kid. And
not bad for Baltimore, right? Not bad. Not bad for Baltimore.
I'm
right?
serious. I'm really taken aback right now.
Yeah,
like I don't have a robe. And y'all would make me be like I'm the bougie one, but y'all over here exfoliating y'all face with a robe on, and I'm like, I'm not the bougie one here on this conversation.
So to be fair, John, and kind of help you out, I had one when I was a kid, but as I got older, it kind of felt like there was no need for one. Like I don't see a need for a robe right now. Like it is what it is. I'm just out here. So
I never have a restful enough moment to wear a robe. I'm like, when can I ever wear a robe? When I'm just sitting around chilling. Like that don't exist in my life when I can just wear a robe.
I think mine is like if I've taken a shower and the doorbell rings and I gotta quickly go get the doorbell and I got a robe.
Throw on some sweats.
I'm not.
and a
you
beater.
answered the door with a
You know
robe?
what I'm saying?
I am seriously like, if I ever come to your house and you came in, I'm like, you.
Oh, I mean, I'm
You know
not
what I'm
expecting. I'm not expecting company.
Yeah.
I got words for you. That's not gonna be said here on this podcast, but we gonna talk.
I'm not expecting company. So like, whoever this is, it should shock me.
Terrence.
Yes. Yes. Cover up.
Who's there?
I'm
You are
not
a grown man.
Now, if I get in the shower, I'm not sitting going, let me somebody at the doorbell, let me go dig in my drawer, let me get this underwear, this t-shirt.
Oh my
God.
God.
Put the robe on, go like, look who's at the door. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean,
Let me tell you, if I'm at that door, you better go put some jeans and a t-shirt on and that backwards cap, and then answer the door.
And that backwards cap, yes.
You want. It's better than you telling me you see me in my matching pajama set. All right, John, because
Oh, that is too funny to me. Thank you, Terrence, for that laugh. I am sitting here really taken back by this. You're answering doors with robes.
Oh my gosh.
So here's the question. Studies show women prefer a man with dating and sexual experience than inexperienced men with no experience. What say you women? Do you prefer, women, a man with dating experience and sexual experience? Or do you prefer more the inexperienced man with no experience? And what do you guys say, guys? Like, I mean, do you think that this is something that's true? Fellas, what? What do women prefer, do you think, before they all answer?
I honestly wouldn't know, because it's like growing up and even as an adult, like in my younger adult years, it's like you almost had to always like be up to par in that in both departments, right? You got to be experienced in both areas.
Right.
So even like growing up as a teenager, you know what I'm saying, before I was even having sex, it was like socially you had to know what you was talking about, or you had to know what you was doing. And even when it came down to like my first time, again, as a teenager, it's just like I had to like act like, yeah, I know what this is, when I had no clue. You know what I'm saying? Like I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer that question though, like with all that I just said, I think it might be true. Because where does that come from, right? It don't just come from like just the guys. It comes from, you know what I'm saying, the women that we interact with, right? So yeah, I think it's true. I think it's true.
So you think it's true? Women prefer a man with dating and sexual experience. What do you think, Terrence?
I mean, I think I would think it's true. I mean, I would be curious to know what was the age range of the women that they surveyed.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see that older women, when I say older, I mean relatively speaking, like 30 and up, like, you know, like would for sure prefer a man who had dating experience. But if they are sexually active, I understand the validity of someone with sexual experience. And I'm even thinking vice versa. I had this debate with a friend of mine, and he was like, he would rather date a girl with no experience, didn't have like a lot of partners, even a virgin, before vice versa. And I realized older me, nah.
You prefer somebody that has experience?
Yeah, I don't want to. I could not be with a virgin. There's no way in the world at this age. There's no way in the world. Like I just.
I'd be interested. I mean, but I guess I got to press a little bit because I'm not sure why. I guess I'm not sure why. I guess is what I'm trying to.
I just because I think I am at the age where I have a certain expectation of performance, and I don't got time to teach you. I don't got time to
teach. You ain't got
classes. No, I'm not doing that.
It sounds like not that you don't have the time, but you don't have the patience.
I don't have the patience. Yeah, I don't have the patience. I have an expectation, like bare minimum.
We on the clock,
and this could be wrong. I think this could be like. And what's funny is this is assuming just because she's a virgin that she doesn't know this, and it's the vice versa. So I'm going off with that assumption, which it may not be totally accurate, but just based off of assumptions makes sense. Like so, like I would not want to be with someone who did not have certain knowledge of things Even definitely as far as dating, especially as far as dating. Now, what Alicia said is very true too. I will say that.
Can you say what she said? Because people are driving.
Says, but when you have sex with anyone, you have to learn them anyway. Everybody doesn't know your body. 100% true. 100%. And I'm a.
So we're all starting from that ground zero, no matter whether we're more experienced. So if we're all starting from ground zero, and then why would it matter then? Because it shouldn't matter.
Not necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily say it's everybody starting from ground zero. Because if you have some sort of experience in that area, you kind of have a one up, right? Instead of like having absolutely no idea. Now it's like, okay, at least I got a map to where, you know.
But then it's like, how much experience is too much experience then? Because I feel like this is a very like.
This goes back to does body counts matter?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this, but I feel like a little bit it is kind of that too. Because then it's like, okay, well, I want you to have some bodies, but not too many bodies. And then how many bodies is too many bodies versus
now bodies. That bodies doesn't necessarily equate to experience, because you can mess around and have like maybe one or two bodies, but experience a plethora of things with this one person. You know what I'm saying? So,
but what is the experience y'all talking about? What does it yield you? Like, let's say clean slate, you're with another person. What would that yield the new person that ends up with that person? What would if let's just say it's just only two bodies, not like a bunch of bodies, but they had a lot of experience with those two bodies. What would that yield the next person if you still got to, like Alicia just said, learn the new person?
So
I feel like a lot of it. Sorry, go ahead,
yeah.
Mike. Sorry.
No, I was going to speak from both perspectives. So like experience in reference to high body count. I mentioned earlier about like at least you have some sort of idea of which way to go, and the more bodies, unfortunately, the more bodies you have, the more like different aspects of a person you've had a chance to kind of dive into. So your I guess imagination, it kind of goes in different directions and you can kind of navigate differently. But as to experience with lesser bodies, like more experiences with this one, maybe two people, it's kind of the same way, but it's just I would imagine it's more of an intimate level. Like more of an intimacy level with just one or two people, because if you think about it, you've had so many different experiences with one or maybe two people. Now you've learned how to experience a person like deeper than just like the physical, right? Like meeting them in different areas in that regard, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's funny. Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead, T.
No, I would. So I was trying to find an analogy, and I'm not sure it's going to be the perfect one, but it's like I like if I'm taking a geometry class. And this is my first time taking geometry. I don't know geometry. But if I have algebra and pass algebra 1, algebra 2, that it will give me help within that geometry class. I can't be a kindergartner and hop right into geometry. So I don't know if that analogy makes sense. Like having some type of knowledge of the subject matter at hand will at least give me a one-up versus going in with no knowledge at all.
I guess my question is too, like, is knowledge like the visual? Like, let's just say you watch porn. That could be knowledge. That could be like, it's not like worked out knowledge, right? Like it's like, and obviously porn can go very, very left. But I'm just saying, if you're looking at
that's the difference between like quality of knowledge versus like pornography. So for me, pornography shouldn't be on the table, because that's like a poor, to me, it's a poor judgment of like how sex is supposed to be done. Man, you got so many levels to pornography where they're like, you see people are into all different types of fetishes, right? And you know, even when it comes down to like, I'll use for instance like the hardcore type stuff, like people just like getting banged out type situation. That's typically not I mean, some people do enjoy that, but you gonna run into the person that you're with and, you know, being intimate with, and you trying to like, you know, drill her, and it's like, yo, that's not how she receives that. It's like, like,
she's like, whoa, slow down.
Like this, I don't enjoy this at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like if you use pornography in that realm, it can go left really quick. So I just don't recommend that for so many different levels, but specifically for that, no.
And I agree with Jamal. I do agree that it's poor knowledge. But what I will say, even because there was a point that's Jamal made earlier about the intimacy thing, I think when there's intimacy there are levels to sex that are different than when there's no intimacy there. So like when you're just like somebody that's like, yo, we just smashing, it's just different energy. But when it's like the level of intimacy and like, oh, we actually see each other on this level, to me, it's different than having experience, right? Like to me, like when you have the intimacy versus experience, it's like, oh, well, the intimacy like takes you further than experience ever could, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So intimacy requires time. And so I've always said that it's not about the amount of people, but it is the experience. I feel in my opinion, it just could be me. If I've had an intimate experience with one person for several years, and we've been intimate several times, I have an opportunity to be more intimate and to learn different levels to please one person that is more advantageous than just learning how to please being with 50 different people. Because so it's like one of those to me might be a better experience. You know, like if I'm able to maintain and successfully do it, regardless, it still goes back to Alicia's point. I still have to start from ground zero with somebody brand new.
Yeah.
You still start from like sure. I wouldn't even say ground zero, but you still start from everybody is different. And, and that's one thing that people that's why I hate when people brag and like this and this. You don't understand that everybody is what you did to that woman or to that man.
Oh my God, yeah.
It doesn't mean it's going to be as good to the next person.
Right.
So you out here thinking you
killing it.
You killing. You think you King Kong and really you Donkey Kong. Like legit. You know, like just saying.
Yeah. It's definitely something to think about in terms of like how we think through the idea of being experienced versus inexperienced. I think intimacy takes the cake when it comes to talking about that, in my opinion.
For sure. I mean, for sure. At the same time, I would agree. At the same time, experience is experience, right? So the difference between, a quality experience versus a just something that just happened, regardless, is still an experience, right? But I think we all are pretty much on the same page as far as like the intimacy, intimate experience is one of quality and one worth having. Yeah,
absolutely. So you guys know we do the Earth is Ghetto, man, and I have a good one for the Earth is Ghetto. This is the one I have for today.
Each president served their term.
I really don't know.
Take a guess. Around how long?
Like time?
Yeah.
An hour?
No, like years.
Oh, I said time and you said yeah.
Yeah, like how?
7.
Yes, I'm sorry for confusing you. What language do the people in Idaho speak?
I don't know.
You've never been?
Nope.
How long does a...
So we have two people here that one person says a president of the United States serves an hour of time as the president of the United States. And then when she finally answered in years, she said 7 years. In addition, the guy said, what language do they speak in Idaho? And she said she has no idea. Guys,
I watch these all the time too.
This is a serious situation. I don't I wanted to laugh when I saw it, but I was like, I'm more frightened for our future than ever before.
Funny, not funny.
I saw one where the guy said, how many feet are... The guy asked the girl how many feet are in 7 feet. She says, how many feet?
How many feet are in 7 feet?
And he stumped her so, and she literally never had an answer. Like,
no.
It's concerning. It's concerning. So every time we need a video to try to figure out if the Earth is still ghetto, we can find one.
We should start doing those like for the next month and just find those.
Like Mike just did. I could literally blindfold myself and just turn to Instagram and scroll, and I'll find an Earth is Ghetto video in no time at all. So Terrence and I told Terrence about this. We actually kind of stumbled onto this. I stumbled onto it, and I told my boy T about it. I haven't had a chance to tell Mike, but Mike, here's your chance, brother. I think I said on a group chat that we are all apart. Sharper is on Apple TV. And man, when I tell you I enjoyed this movie, now everybody wants to say John doesn't enjoy anything, he doesn't like anything, he's hard to please when it comes to movies, and that all might be true. This particular movie, though, did a really good job of making you think throughout the movie. It's not a scary movie at all. It's more so a movie that's going to make you think throughout. And Terrence can speak to it because he's more of the movie critic than I could ever be. But that's why I wanted him to see it. So, T, you got anything for this particular movie?
So I will tell you, this really pains my soul and it hurts my emotions because I wanted to disagree with John so bad. There's nothing that I wanted. I literally watched this movie just so on today I could say how much trash this movie was, and
You're
John
lying.
was wrong.
You're lying.
Now that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I
I
watched
know you're
this
lying.
movie, and this movie was really, really good.
Yeah,
I'm not
good.
even gonna lie. It's probably one of the better movies I've seen this year so far,
Mhm.
and that includes Black Panther. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, this is one of the better movies I've seen so far this year. Very suspenseful, very whodunit. It's a con movie. It's about a con artists, like crimes. The acting is phenomenal.
Yes.
You got great cast. Dude that plays Winter Soldier, Julianne Moore. Like, you know, you got a good cast here, and like literally everybody gets their own time to shine. It gets you to the very end. If you are looking for something to watch that would just keep you on the edge, and like, I'm letting you know right now, Apple TV. If there's never reason, like there's so many reasons to subscribe to Apple TV.
Yeah.
It's like the best $4.99
I've ever spent.
ever spent. So many quality shows between.
And this is a movie?
Between the morning show.
It's a movie.
And it's a movie.
Okay.
And every now and then, Mike, they drop movies. Right? They have movies.
Yeah.
And this one, Sharper, was really, really good. Like really, like I would watch it again. I would have paid this. I would have paid to see this in a movie theater.
I agree.
It's really good.
I agree
All
with
right.
everything he just said.
Check it out,
it was
man.
it was
Check it
that good. I see Alicia's comment. I was gonna ask if it was scary because it's really dark. It's not scary at all.
Thriller.
It's a suspenseful movie in which they really grab your attention from the beginning and do a good job, I think, of unpacking each character
Yeah, really good
throughout the
job.
movie, which rarely happens in a movie. So to Jonathan Jones, who critiques everything very hard, I definitely was like, wow, this is a great movie. And that's what made me say to T, man, we got to make sure that we check this one out.
I'm trying to think of a movie to compare it to because like it was very hard for me to compare
I was
to a
wanna
movie
ask
I would
that.
compare it to. Like
There's no movie that I can even think of.
What's the one with Ben Affleck and the one with Ben Affleck where the girl, his wife, he was married and she disappeared and they accused him of killing
Lost
her.
Girl? Was it Lost Girl?
Oh,
No,
somebody
it's
help
Lost
me out.
Girl.
It wasn't Lost Girl. I know what you're talking about, but it wasn't Lost
It was a
Girl.
movie
If I'm,
with Ben
if I'm
Affleck.
right, I'm gonna be mad.
No, it's not Lost Girl.
It is Lost Girl. Where he lost his wife, and his wife ends up
Nah.
leaving. What are you saying, Terrence? What are you trying to say?
Don't ruin
Gone
it.
Girl.
God.
She said Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
Gone
It's
Girl.
Gone Girl. Thank you.
Oh, you're right. It is Gone
Yeah, it's
Girl.
Gone
I thought I
Girl.
said Lost Girl. I was so
Gone-
committed to it, I didn't even care what I saw.
It's similar to Gone Girl, but I ain't gonna lie. I think this was even better than Gone
It's
Girl.
better than Gone Girl.
It's definitely better than Gone Girl.
I won't say it's better because Gone Girl did have a good twist. It was a good acting in Gone Girl, in my opinion. And by
The
twist, I
was
mean
better in Gone Girl, but
Yeah.
I think the way they unpacked each character in this was really good.
okay. I'll take that.
I would say that.
It's a great movie.
So let's make
Not
sure we
family
mark
friendly.
this day, everybody. Let's mark this day, February.
gotta
What
mark
is this?
this day.
22nd, 2023.
Black History Month.
What are we doing?
John
What's going on right
has
now?
a movie that
This is
he
one time, guys.
absolutely
Don't make a big deal.
loves.
Don't do
Yeah,
this.
it's
Don't do
good.
this to me.
It's really
Not
good,
here
y'all.
on no,
Give it
guys.
up for me.
Listen, at the end of the day,
Give 'em up for
I'm
me.
easy to please when it comes to movies. I just want a plot.
Oh, so
I want
Mark
a
this day
plot.
is John continues to tell lies on here on this podcast.
Also.
Is it realistically real or is it realistically lie? Like which one is it?
Guys,
Like,
stop. Honestly, really. So listen, we all know that we all got to see maybe about a week ago or so. Actually, it's last Sunday, we got to see our girl Rihanna. We talked about how excited we were about all of this happening and occurring on live. And we all watched the performance of Rihanna with a hint of Super Bowl, and we loved it. I think. I don't know. What do you guys think about the Super Bowl performance? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you think it was great? Was it everything you hoped for? Was it like, girl, sit down? What were y'all thinking throughout this particular performance?
So at first, at first I was just like, great songs. She did a bunch of bangers, right? I expected for Jay-Z to pop up at least one time.
At least.
She had like 2 or 3 songs, right? 2 or 3 songs with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and didn't happen. So it was that. That and I was like, is it just me or is it like I feel like I should be getting more out of this experience? I wasn't sure exactly what it was, but I also had to take into consideration. And I used, I guess, a tweet or like somebody had posted on Instagram or whatever. They were saying, "Hey, it's the concert was way like the halftime show was way better in person than it is seeing it on the TV." Because people were actually saying that, like, from being in the stadium, like, it was great, it was phenomenal, whatever, like that. But people at home were just like, I mean, it's okay. I mean, this is welcome back, Rihanna. You know, this is cool, yeah. But overall, I think I ended up giving her a slight pass because I kind of noticed in between at some point it was like, oh, she's pregnant. Oh, okay. I don't expect her to do too much. And at the same time, and maybe it's just me and the experience I've had with her performances on stage, I don't remember her doing a whole lot anyway. Like, yeah, great, like singing and everything like that. But like, as far as
not
like
great
dancing,
singing. We're never
and all
gonna say
that
great
stuff.
singing for Rihanna. We're not gonna say great singing for Rihanna. She's not a great singer. She's a performer.
Her music is good.
Her music is
really good.
Her music is good.
And she generally dances more than that day because she
does generally dance more.
She dances more than that.
But not like she doesn't dance like Beyonce. She doesn't give me a Beyonce performance, like for sure.
And to Brandy's point, even when Beyonce was pregnant, Beyonce gave a bigger. That's what I did. That's what I say. I didn't like about it. Rihanna started the show showing off that she was pregnant, did a full show, and then revealed she was pregnant at the end. Do y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That was her reveal, Beyonce.
But she can't copy.
I get that she can't copy, but it was so obvious. I was like, and then she's just literally doing the most minimal dancing she could possibly do while having a baby, which I understand. But I will give, and I love Rihanna, I will give her credit for being, I don't know, 80 or 70 feet in the air, however high she was, with a baby. Like, that to me was like nuts when you think about this fact that she was pregnant. And she's suspended in the air on these little like things. So I'm like, okay,
I would imagine like any person, real person outside of being pregnant would be like losing their stuff, being that high, trying to do a performance. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I saw a post, and what's so funny is this could be the artsy in me, where someone was breaking down that the concept of the show was the reveal that she was pregnant. That they legitimately were supposed to be like, she wore red on purpose. They were white, and they were the song choices that she chose. The order of the song choices was the story of love, and the end result was when you are in love or whatever it was, like the heartache, the heartbreak, like, and then
I get it now, because it's like the dancers are like the little sperm, right?
Yes,
and then she was the one that actually made it.
That's exactly, and that's why she was. And they were traveling to her, like everything. So
I did not see
when I
none
saw
of that.
that,
I was actually joking when I said that. Wow,
me
Terrence.
too.
All right,
I'm about to say, I'm like, what are you talking about, Mike?
No, I'm serious. I want to find a post.
I can't.
Where I want to find a post. Somebody, like, that's my thing. If that's
right,
I want her to say it, because somebody interpreted it, but I think it's not real unless she says it. If she says it, that was her design and that was her purpose. Okay, then it becomes a question of, Brianna, nobody would have got that. Like, no one would look that got that. I'm glad you thought about that, but we wouldn't have got that.
We never would have got
that. And it's
there.
also not true unless she says it. So I said that.
So best halftime show. Let's just settle this for now. For now, between Rihanna and Beyonce, what are we finally saying, guys? Are we saying Beyonce has it or Rihanna has it?
If you do not say Beyonce,
Janet Jackson
had a better halftime show.
What are you gonna know, Terrence? You say who you are gonna don't worry about my vote. You worry about your own vote. Who are you voting for, Terrence?
It's Beyonce. No, everybody needs to say Beyonce. I'll hang up this phone.
No. You can hang up the phone. Nobody cares. First of all, it's not a phone. It's a video. It's a video. Okay.
I might be
streaming
using my
services.
phone,
This is Restream video services. So Terrence says Rihanna. Mike, you say?
I said what? I said Beyonce.
Oh, you said Beyonce. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you correctly. Mike says.
Beyonce.
Turn your camera on, Terrence. You said Beyonce. I say Rihanna does not have it. She did not win this year for best Super Bowl halftime show, unfortunately.
She doesn't have the worst though, because The Weeknd is still.
Seth said it's a fake question. It's not a fake question, Seth.
It's a-
I
thank you,
think
Seth.
it's a
Thank you,
good
Seth.
quality question because I still love Rihanna, though, despite the
Of
fact
course.
that she did not do what I really thought she was going to kill it, but her being pregnant threw a little monkey wrench in my.
It wasn't
my
horrible
plans.
to me.
I
It wasn't
enjoyed
horrible,
the
but it wasn't
songs
good.
though. Like the songs brought back good
It wasn't
memories.
good, guys.
Man.
We're not going
Like,
to do this because if it was somebody white, we would have been like, we would have killed them. We would have killed them. It's like, yo, this
I don't
is
think
terrible.
Madonna had a bad one. The
I don't even remember
Weeknd was
Madonna's.
trash.
The Weeknd was the worst one I've ever seen in my entire
That's what
life.
I'm saying.
Terrence,
That
how,
was it.
how
That was
old? How old are you?
Madonna's
I'm
was
trying
like
to figure out.
Madonna. You
Madonna
remember
was like-
1995 when it did?
no, Madonna's was 6 years ago. Madonna's was 6.
I don't know what he's talking
jumped out like Madonna's was like six years ago.
Okay,
Sure.
my bad.
Like,
You can say anything. Nobody here
what I
knows what you're
missed.
talking about.
And
Nobody.
everybody remembers The Weeknd.
Jermaine Dupri
2012.
confirms a versus battle against Diddy at the Atlanta Mercedes-Benz Stadium. He says it's gonna be like the Super Bowl. So I don't even know what to say here. And this is what I did for this particular conversation because I did want it to be something that we like we're really talking about. So apparently they've been talking about this, and in general, Dupree even admitted that he might not be favored to win, but cautioned that he shouldn't be counted out in a contest that would see their artists and production catalogs go to head to head. And he basically said, we're going into this versus me and Puff. I'm the underdog, a dangerous underdog too, Jermaine Dupri said. And I say danger because people don't really know my records. We know all Puff's songs. He don't have no hidden records that I'm like, oh, I didn't know he did it. I got a bunch of records that he didn't even really be thinking about. This is actually the quote. I don't talk like this. So Jermaine, I want to say Jermaine Dupri's top hits. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but here are his top hits. Money Ain't a Thing with Jay-Z. In My Bed.
Okay.
Welcome to Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta. Coast to Coast remix. Coming Where I'm From. Sweetheart with Mariah Carey. Confessions, one of my favorite albums. Part 2 remix. Promise with Cool JD remix and Loon. Always Be My Baby featuring the Brat and Change. Those are his top 10. And then as far as Diddy's top 10, so we can have a really actual good conversation. I don't want it to be like we don't know what no songs. Diddy's songs will be this, and I want to actually share it so you guys can see it on your screens. Diddy's song will be this, y'all. Diddy does I'll Be Missing You featuring Faith Evans, which is a classic. I Need a Girl, another classic. God Move On, don't know it, but heard of it. Sex in the Porsche, don't know that. But Bad Boy for Life, obviously know that. I Need a Girl, know that. Last Night, feature Keisha Cole. And Victory with Notorious B.I.G. Busta Rhymes. And then Been Around the World feature Notorious B.I.G. and Mace. So who do you guys think would win head between Jermaine Dupri and P. Diddy?
It's over, yo. Jermaine Dupri, like I'm telling you.
What?
Listen,
This is why I don't even like you play too much, bro. You play too much.
Because you didn't even mention,
another fake
you
question.
did not even mention. No, look, we're gonna talk about this. You did not even mention the hit of your little Bow Wow. You just don't know the way you go. What? Once he drops that joint, and yo, it's over. Not Bow Wow, Lil Bow. Wait, it's over, yo.
Terrence, I don't know why you're saying this. I'm very amazed that they put Diddy against Jermaine Dupri. I really was thinking like that's not even an equal battle, in my opinion.
So the songs that you mentioned for Jermaine Dupri, he only was I only remember him being in 2 of them jumps, like actually saying something on the album. Other than that, he probably produced or like was in the background type situation.
But this is a production battle. This should be a production battle, right?
It is a production battle because
it should be a production battle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because essentially that's what P. Diddy is, a producer. He's not he be on everybody's tracks. He be and you gonna see him in a video. He gonna shimmy his way into the music video no matter what happens.
I know at some point in time he shows up, and especially like in his earlier days, he was actually on the tracks. You know what I'm saying? Like that last night couldn't even get an answer. You know what I'm
He
saying?
has
Like
multi-platinum albums. He has platinum.
Yeah.
He has multi-platinum albums for sure.
Who did he?
Diddy has multi-platinum albums for sure.
I don't know. I don't keep up with his stuff, but I'm just saying. At the end of the day, I don't see why P Diddy would go against Jermaine Dupri. I think that's not even a fair fight. That's what I was trying to say.
Is there any other producer turned rapper that has as many hits? Like even in even close.
Wouldn't it be Dr. Dre? You don't think Dr. Dre and P Diddy?
Dr. Dre was a rapper turned producer. I don't think that counts. To me, Dr. Dre was a rapper first, and then he became a producer. Most of his stuff, Dr. Dre became famous from when he was with the NWA, and he was more known for his rapping and being part of that group, and then eventually became known for his production skills. Like when he,
I get what you're saying.
With Pac and Pac and Snoop. And
I don't know why
Eminem.
you're saying that discounts him though. I'm talking about catalog alone. I think he's the only one that can kind of stand with P Diddy on a catalog.
So I'm saying that Dr. Dre number one is in the industry is much older than P Diddy because the NWA is considered one of the pioneers, especially of West Coast rap. Okay. And I'm just saying that I feel like Diddy was known for just being a producer and then got in on the act. Like so, I'm thinking maybe like a Timberland, maybe like a you know what I'm saying? Like what's the dude? Pharrell, maybe Pharrell.
I love Pharrell. I love
the
Pharrell.
Clips.
Clips? Are you high?
Wait a minute.
You got Pharrell. I'm saying Pharrell.
You had me
with the
Clips.
Clips.
Because of the okay. I thought you were saying as another artist to go.
No.
I'm like, you just named the
Swiss Beats.
Okay.
But his music really take off. His career really take off.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question: who would go against Jay-Z? Ooh. Who could go?
That's still alive.
As far as still alive as an artist that has the catalog that could go against Jay. Is there anybody? Is that why he hasn't done one? You think?
Small catalog, 50.
What?
Small
50
catalog.
50 who?
Hear me out.
You're smoking weed.
I'm
bro.
not. I'm picking Jay. Period.
I like Seth's thinking. I think Wayne's the only one that can even come close. Because he's been in the game long enough.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
He did see. Wayne doesn't. Well, I mean, I guess if you count Young Money. See,
you gotta count Young Money. Yeah.
But listen. Hear me out. I'm saying people don't remember. People say as somebody who especially back when I liked rap back in the day, you gotta understand how big 50 Cent really was.
He was never that big that you should mention him right now. He was never that big.
Pause. You're a liar. For 5 or 6, 7 years, G Unit. Clothes,
sure,
like albums,
sure,
was everywhere.
I give you all of that. It's still
everywhere.
The sustainability that Jay-Z has had in this market is still nothing close to.
Yeah, but Wayne doesn't have sustainability right now.
I disagree.
We think he's dope. I'm saying that nobody else.
Nobody thinks Jay-Z's dope anymore either, though. I don't think anyone young is like, "Ooh, that new Jay-Z."
So you said sustainability as far as a rapper. He don't have as far as a rapper. No, he's sustainability as far as what he did in the industry. And so that means to me, you have to get beyond just rapping. What did Jay-Z do in the industry? Rockefeller Records. Like, what did he do in the industry? And I'm saying at one point in time, G Unit, when you add in the game, when you add into like what he was doing in the industry, and then he was doing like
all the people he bought with him. Okay.
Yeah, Jay is to me it's no. I don't think it's for me. There is nobody. For me, there is nobody
that can touch Jay-Z. Just say that. Don't bring 50 Cent into a conversation that
but
he don't belong.
Jermaine Dupri shouldn't be in a battle with Diddy.
I agree with that too. You're not gonna get any fight out of me on that. But you're definitely not gonna say Jay-Z and 50 Cent should need to be on a rap versus together. I was about to say Drake. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Drake and Jay could have because Drake has a lot of hits.
Small catalog. Yeah, it could be a smaller catalog because you got to think like just the years in between them in general, right? Jay-Z just been in the game longer, so he got more hits. Yeah. So if we summed it down to like, greatest hits within his 10-year run versus greatest hits in Drake's 10-year run. The jump might be all right.
Look, Seth is saying. I mean, Seth says Wayne is the GOAT to these young rappers, still getting features for a lot of those relatively young artists. I think he's making a good point. Jay bought Beyonce and Rihanna. So I think what's happening with hold on, Jay didn't bring Beyonce.
I was about to say, all right,
Beyonce was already her own artist,
Yeah.
Brandy. Rihanna, he did bring. Okay, I'll give you that. But Jay did not bring in Beyonce.
He made Rihanna relevant. If you're trying to show out,
he helped stamp Beyonce's career, I would say, for the longevity.
Sure.
I mean, but Beyonce didn't need no help because she was already a beast.
No, she did.
Well,
okay, I'm not saying this is Jonathan Jones. I'm not saying that Beyonce needed help.
As a Beyonce fanatic, her solo career would not have launched without Crazy in Love for sure. And just like most people don't even know Rihanna. Nobody can
edit this one, Mike.
Hold up. Other than Ponder Replay, name a Rihanna song off her first album. Nobody knows it. It wasn't until Umbrella came out. That's what happened. And Beyonce had no solo career until Jay hopped on board because it was on his album. That's what made her relevant.
It was on her album.
No, I'm not talking Crazy in Love. I'm talking about the one. All I Need Is For Me and My Girl on his album, which was her first time kind of like soloing, like feature with her, and then that gave her some street cred for sure. And from there, they built her entire. She launched with Crazy in Love, and it was a wrap.
I agree. Now, I will say I agree that with Crazy in Love, her career did explode. I will agree with that.
Yeah.
She did have an amazing like uptick there.
For sure.
And the branding wise from then on then forward was like crazy because when they did that and going into being the Carters and then did their own collaborative albums that way, like it was just a whole nother branding that was great. All I'm saying as far as Jay-Z is concerned, I think the only persons that can even be in the conversation are Wayne and Drake. And I would say Wayne ahead of Drake.
That's what I say.
I can agree with that.
I would say Drake ahead of Wayne. As far as
you're crazy, bro.
He had too many hits. Drake has more hits than Wayne.
I don't even think you would even say that.
Drake
I don't think you should even say that. T, you can't say that.
Drake has sold more albums than Wayne. Drake has more hits. Listen, I like Wayne, but I'm talking about me.
You're tripping, bro.
I'm saying that, bro. Drake drops an album right now.
I like Drake a lot. This is.
Sir, Drake drops an album right now, and it's over. Drake and Kanye are the ones who everything stops. They're the only two rappers where everything stops if they drop an album. Legitimately.
Okay, I'm not talking about that.
Like
though.
to this day, you talking about to this day? Yeah,
hits.
I'm not talking.
We're talking about hits.
You said top. So top 10 right now for Lil Wayne would be this. All right, y'all. Go DJ, Lil Wayne the Carter.
Okay.
Drop the World. Lil Wayne feature Eminem. Jesus.
Who knows?
Okay. Relax yourself.
Name a line.
See, I didn't say I was gonna do this. I'm not doing this. I'm not defending it. So Uproar, Lil Wayne. How to Love, Lil Wayne, and I know that. She Will, Lil Wayne feature Drake. Awesome song. Three-peat, Lil Wayne, the Carter 3.
Yeah.
Mr. Carter, Lil Wayne featuring Jay-Z. Lollipop, yeah. A Millie, love it. A Millie, and number 1 is 6 foot, 7 foot. Lil Wayne featuring Corey Buns, the Carter, and that's the one I think that also has Chris Brown on it.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Fake Love. Right? God's Plan. What else? Once in Need featuring Lil Baby. Energy. Find Your Love. Marvin's Room. One Dance. Take Care. Controller. In My Feelings. Started from the Bottom. Laugh Now, Cry Later. Hotline Bling. Hold On, We're Coming Home.
Oh yeah, Hotline Bling is the one right there. Thank you.
Nice.
Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, hold on.
I'm saying
Yeah, go ahead.
Drake had, because here's the issue. Here's my issue and my central point.
Yeah,
Wayne is a rapper. Wayne is a rapper. Drake is a pop artist.
Yeah,
that's why
that's what I was just about to say.
Trumps Beyonce every time because Beyonce was R&B.
I'll give you this.
Rihanna was a pop star.
Yeah.
So Drake has more hits. He ain't a better rapper than Wayne. for
No.
sure.
I'm glad
But he got
I'm
more
glad
hits.
you're saying that.
Oh yeah,
And I
there's
agree
no
with Seth
question.
Stone too. Mixtape wise, Wayne is not on this. His mixtape that
For
Wayne does,
sure.
whichever the
I agree
hits
with
are.
Seth.
So I just think
Man.
it's just like if you bring everything to the conversation, I don't know. But all I'm saying is thank you for at least saying that you acknowledge that Wayne has a catalog. Because I think you're
Absolutely.
saying that. Drake is more relevant to the culture. However, Drake, I don't think, to me, Drake is like, it's gonna be tough for me to say Drake and Jay-Z. It's going to I really have Jay-Z at this top slot when it comes to rapping and artistry and even level of like production. It's just a different level. Drake found his lane and just made the crap out of that
I
lane.
would agree.
Jay-Z made a lane and another lane and another lane and another lane. I think it's just two different like people.
I would agree.
So if you guys know, lately it's been a lot of viral pictures about this idea that women are dominant in their households and the emasculation of the black man. And of course, it's Black History Month, so we want to kind of end it off thinking about this idea because I don't know if you guys saw this stuff on social media, but it's been kind of viral with this idea of Rihanna and A$AP Rocky and the child, the baby, and they're just kind of being featured in this dominant woman. Right, and it's A$AP Rocky holding the baby in the back, and so that's been like a big thing that's been happening in culture today. In addition to that, there's been even more things about like other Vogue pics from other race and ethnicities. Ethnicities, where basically Vogue does not do the same thing to other cultures that it has done to our Black culture. In the sense that, like, if you look at, I mean, if you guys, obviously some of you gonna be driving, but if you're looking at this online, you'll see Vogue with other pictures of other ethnicities where it doesn't feel like they're demeaning the culture of Black, but they're like kind of like allowing it to be this kind of equal nature between couples. But with Rihanna, and there was another one with Jonathan Majors. I'm just kind of showing you guys just to kind of create the argument or the conversation that we're having right now. There's another one with Jonathan Majors where it's the front cover. I forget of what magazine it was. I think it was Essence. Oh no, Ebony.
Yeah.
The front cover of Ebony, where Jonathan Majors. I'll show it to you guys right here. Where Jonathan Majors is at the helm there, and he's kind of in a feminine kind of garmentry. I believe there's more the backstory to this. So I want to leave room for that. But this is him kind of posing for Ebony magazine, and so says that the Black community wasn't feeling this because there was a lot of dialogue from the Black community. People were saying things like, don't get me wrong, he looks good, but I'm just not sure about this look that he's going for there. Of all that have made the cover, there is definitely an agenda with our Black men, and I don't like that. Jonathan Majors, but this is a major no-no. Respect to this brother, but this don't look sus to y'all. LOL. Why would y'all have him pose like this? They always got to make our brothers look feminine. Men just don't men it. Why Ebony? Come on now. Such a handsome man, and then you throw a pink fluffy coat on him. I'm sick of this. Enough is enough. Not into any of this. So a lot of the culture's been talking about this, and I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts about, do you think that in general, right now in the culture, they are trying to make men out to be less masculine and kind of like emasculating the Black men in our culture today? What do you think?
So, yes, I think the examples chosen are not a reflection of that. So, I think I've said this before, and I've said this before in another podcast episode. I do think Hollywood has an agenda with black in general, and I've seen this in several examples because Hollywood has a standard of what like. I'm very careful what I say. I'm not talking about what my standard of beauty is. I'm not talking about what my standard of masculinity is. I'm not talking about I'm not even giving my opinion on what I think is beautiful, whatever it was. I know that Hollywood's standard of what beauty is traditionally they have a certain idea of what they say this is what beauty looks like. And that is generally accepted. This is why certain people who look certain ways don't get certain roles. That's why certain people who look certain ways or come certain ways, it's when they make it big, it's always like you made it big despite you being shaped or packaged like this in Hollywood. So you're a trailblazer, right? So i.e. Melissa McCarthy, i.e. someone who make it big who's not really attractive, but they made it they got all these movie deals because they're not the norm of attractiveness.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've noticed is someone who watches movies and shows and commercials. I noted that traditionally it's someone who is not overweight, is what the scale of Hollywood's beauty is. They take care of themselves physically, right? And they match a certain look. But sometimes when I see, especially a show that is catered towards the mass, like white people, if there's a black character in that show, they're the overweight one. If there's a black character in the show, they're the one who is homosexual.
Yeah.
Like if there's a black character in the show, they're the one that is unattractive. They're the one who's not deemed as being. They're like and out of the group, they're the one that's forgettable. While all the other white characters don't fit that mold. So it's almost like Hollywood often comes across, and I've seen articles that even say this. They know we gotta chump off we gotta click a box. We gotta make sure we include someone who's homosexual, we gotta include an African American, and we gotta include a comic relief. Boom, let's make it all the same person. So we did it. Boom, we got it done. So I do think there is an agenda. I do not think that those two pictures are a reflection of that. The article was about Rihanna. She's the billionaire. He's not. So like her being in the front, I understand, and her leading, I get it. That is it's about it's like that to me. That the article was about her, so I'm okay with that one. And then the Jonathan Majors, if I'm correct, he was mirroring an anime picture. And so the art was used was his reflection of doing a re-imaging anime, which is why he's literally dressed exactly as the anime character. So I think it's a reach on us. With that being said, I understand the backlash. So I may not agree, but I can understand it.
So doubling back to this one right here, the one that you're showing right now, John. Jonathan Majors, and the character that the background in reference to like what gave them the inspiration. His I forget who helps him, his design artist or whoever it is to help him like prep for photo shoots like this. It from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing online, it was inspired by One Piece. So One Piece is a anime cartoon. And the character that he was inspired by was Doflamingo. So it's another guy. He's kind of like this big masculine dude, but he wears this pink kind of overcoat, or like pink feathered overcoat type situation, like similar to what Jonathan Majors has in his photo. So I can see where that comes from, and even like there you go. Thanks for showing that. So even in the sense from what I'm also hearing, Jonathan Majors, I guess design artist, the guy that like dressed him for this, also has a like anime background. So like he loves anime, and this is kind of how he got the inspiration from that. That still does not, for me, that still doesn't negate the fact that I believe there is an agenda on the black man specifically within the media. And maybe, Jonathan obviously didn't have what's his name?
Majors.
Jonathan Majors. Right, not Jonathan Jones, clearly.
No. I don't have the body for that. Go ahead.
Jonathan Majors, whether he agreed to it, right? So he made a choice at the end of the day. So we can try to come up with all these conspiracy theories as to, he was forced to wear this and all that other stuff. He made a choice, man. Like, and he's grown enough. He's in the industry. He's growing and everything like that to make those necessary choices. And he's even responded to the backlash in the point of like, hey, if it causes a ruckus, if it causes a good ruckus, I'm cool with it. And that even gave like inspiration from like even the black empowerment like movement, like even from back in like 60s and 70s and stuff like that, like to use the phrase like cause a ruckus, that was a thing too back then. So with all of that in mind, man, like it just depends on the lens that you're looking at it in, Me personally, I'm just like, for me, it comes off a little sus. Even in a sense of like the type of boots that he's wearing. There's other photos related to this photo shoot. It's not just this one. Like there's other photos that kind of like give the similar vibe, like with the duck lips and all that other stuff. And I'm just like, yo,
and that's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, like,
I feel like the problem wasn't the outfit.
No.
That's what I think. And people were made a lot of the outfit. But if you really go to the actual photo, to me, where the problem should have been is this kind of perked up like lips type thing. This is a dominant like chick or woman type look.
Pose. Yeah.
Like this is something that women. This is something that women. No, and it's kind of all seriousness. This is how women pose. It very commonly, very often, like in a lot of different photos, right? So that's what to me was like the problem, quote unquote problem. And I do agree that it's a reach if he's trying to mirror something that was an anime, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But to me, the problem wasn't the even the outfit as much as it was the nonverbals that were communicated through just the look and the crossing of the legs and the perking of the lips. It to me was like kind of odd, like that was even a thing, like why that would even be a thing.
I like playing devil's advocate. I like what Kev on stage said. I don't know if y'all saw his comment about this. He was just saying like his last, like Jonathan Major's last 5 movies are the most masculine thing you could possibly be. He's been a fighter pilot, a boxer. He's a King the Conqueror. He's like the villain. He's like, he's been like this, and he's just like, you can't be more masculine. And so, then, and I kind of see that. Like, so I was iffy on this one too. Like, I really was. I don't necessarily like it.
Here's Kev on Stage's thoughts about it. Here we go.
Cool. Covers are destroying the black community this week. They're tearing us apart. The timeline's tattered. This one with Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. This other one with Jonathan Majors and all the conversations about emasculation. What's happened to the black family? Look at this picture, okay? They done brought the geometry out. They're saying A$AP Rocky's not masculine because Rihanna is standing in front of him in a picture. And he's behind her holding his baby and giving the baby a kiss. Even though the article is about her, he is not masculine enough because he's not in front of the picture at all times like the men should be. You really want me to believe that A$AP Rocky, who's in a committed relationship with Rihanna and his father 2 children, cares whether strangers think him in the back of the picture is masculine enough? I don't think he cares. Now to Jonathan Majors. They're emasculating us. They're emasculating us. Why can't we never be masculated? Have you noticed we can never be masculated, right? Jonathan Majors' last 5 movies were the most masculine things ever. He was a cowboy. He was a fighter pilot. He was a bodybuilder. He's King, the Conqueror, a villain, and then he's a boxer. How much more masculine can you be than those 5 things? But I never heard nobody saying, look how masculated. They masculating our men. They building them up to be fighter pilots, bodybuilders, conquerors, boxers. That is never the conversation. He never gets credit for the masculated. He can only be emasculated. And it's always there. It can't be the person's choice to just wear some cool clothes and boots that is pants in one. It can't be that his choice. It's always there, right? He never masculated. This man is built like muscles personified. Have you looked at Jonathan Majors? Would you pull up to Jonathan Majors and be like, you emasculated? Because I wouldn't tell him nothing. I'd say, I respect your work and you killed it as Kane. We got to let it go, y'all. Magazine covers been dropped in the black community like crack cocaine and COINTELPRO. It's the FBI. They want to break us up.
That's funny, yo. He's funny.
I mean, he said a lot. I do think that to a certain degree that I don't like to our culture's discredit that we like to make it seem like, oh, it's nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Like even if the article is about Rihanna, why can't he just be sitting next to her? Like, even if it's about her, like, what's wrong with that? Like, and I'm not saying that it was right or wrong about her being in front and behind or whatever, but like, as you saw in the other articles that we showed that was from Vogue,
it's hard,
everybody
not to miss the patterns. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, it's hard not to miss that. Like,
yeah. It feels like it's on purpose to me. Like, and I feel like that's I feel like we always try to like, guys, you're reaching, guys, like, no, like it's too, like you guys are it's too much, you're extra. I'm like, but like it does like are we gonna act like our culture hasn't been kind of marginalized in a lot of different ways, and that black, like you already said, T, a lot of our culture as black men, we have marginalized the black man, so there is truth to it.
I think so.
But
I think
maybe you're trying to say it's not truth to this. It's like if there's truth to it but not truth to this, it's like I find it strange.
So I think my only push to that, or again my going against it, is I feel like then it becomes it becomes one of the things where it's not the intention but it's the impact. So like where the intention of the artist was not to do that, but the impact can still be felt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think then does it become the responsibility? So what we're saying is it now becomes the responsibility of those who are shooting our black men to realize that this is a narrative that's out there. So in your artistic, if this is an issue with support from black community towards your art, to consider that viewpoint when making your art. And I don't think I have an issue with that. But it makes sense, like, because it may not be the intent of the artist before you. However, it has been very documented that it is an issue within our community. And we got enough of our own battles with losing our black men to drugs, losing our black men to police violence, losing our black men to our own black on black violence. We have enough battles. Makes sense. So it's like we at this point in time, we need to see our men strong on the screen. Like I remember I saw some post that it had nothing to do with this, but it's been going viral on Instagram about the role of black men throughout history in television. And it was bringing like Fred Sanford and and Uncle Phil and the father from Family Matters and Bill Cosby and how there was like this campaign to have black men, number one, stay married to their wives in these shows, be successful, because it was a campaign to push a different narrative than what was seen in the black community, right? And so it's almost like if Hollywood understands it, or we need advocates to say out other words like, this is what we need to see so that we have something for our black men to inspire to. Because what's so funny is this, and that was my last point, and I say this all the time. The same people who be like, the same women will be like, you reaching, not, but it's okay. No, for daggone well, if your boyfriend pulled up, or if your love interest pulled up in that outfit and asked to take you out on a date, you would be like, no, you're not. It would be like, no, or if you're like, makes sense, because even in some capacity, you desire a masculine looking figure of a man, and I'm like, I mean, broad strokes, I'm pretty sure there's people who counter. I'm speaking broad strokes, makes sense. So it's just like, I just think it's a thing,
So I'm really glad you brought up a good point in reference to responsibility in those seats of power when it comes down to influence. And that was kind of like the point that I was making about like the fact that Jonathan Major, like he made a choice to be able to pose like this, right? He could have said no. He could have been like, nah, let's go with something else. Give a little bit of direction of like what he feels as though the photo shoot be looking like. At the same time, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't know what his contract is written like. It might be like, hey, you're gonna put this on and you're gonna represent the magazine the way I tell you to, whether you like it or not. You're gonna get this check, right? Okay, cool. We don't know what happens in the background. At the end of the day, it's still. But because of all of the different battles, like you said, Terrence, that we're facing within the black community today, it's just it's just more important for us to be able to use those platforms that we have to be able to represent the black man in the black community with a level of strength. And some people might disagree with me when I say that in reference to like representing strength versus like femininity. And the fact that he put on the outfit and the stances of duck lips and all that other stuff, he could still be strong and still look like that. But with the level of influence that he has over top of the magazine and within industry and everything like that, it's just so much more important that we think about the way we represent ourselves with the entertainment field in general, because there are so many other battles that are happening beyond us that we have to stand where we stand firmly, right? If we have a platform, stand firmly in what we believe in, man. Stand firmly in what we want our Black community to be like represented as, and not fall short just because of, you know, whether it's a contract, whether it's a, you know, how much money I'm making, or whatever the case, man. Stand firm in whatever you believe.
Right.
Yeah.
So for $25 million, would you pose like that on a cover?
I'd have duck lips, and I would have my legs crossed, and I'd have that jean outfit on.
Here we go.
With this body that is not like Jonathan Majors, and be sitting there looking
dad bod,
dad bod and all.
Yeah,
I'll be laid
yeah,
right there. But
yeah.
see, we don't know if it's a money thing, and I think that's the thing. That's the tension. But to me, I struggle with that, because I joke, but like in all seriousness, I'm like, for the culture, if I had the stature or the space where these people are, where they really, what they do sets it makes it viral, and it's some sense of like, oh, this sets the standard or lack thereof. Like, I don't know if I would take a bag over that, because it's like, I don't like, we're looking at men that's looking at us, men that are looking at us or looking to us to determine like what's going on in the trends in this world right now. They're like, oh, this is cool, this is not cool. To me, it's a little bit not cool. If it's a money grab, then it's not cool to me.
That's
But if it's like no money to grab,
she said that Black men have been seen as aggressive and threatening over time. Does this help make Black men more tolerable? I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I think, like, to me, that's even worse, because if like you have to go to the two extremes. There's no middle ground.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there should be a middle. Like, again, I'm not saying that I personally had an issue with the photo, but I always would say I understood why people did have backlash to both those photos. I just feel like there's a middle ground. Makes sense. Like, there is a middle ground. Like, there's like, if I'm going with what we're saying, what John and Mike were saying, there's different poses he could take. As a matter of fact, I thought there were different poses even in the magazine that could have been the cover, that were not as, you know, as similar as that pose. So I just, I don't know. You know, I just like, I mean, it's a good conversation. I think it's a good question.
So to that point, does this make Black men more tolerable? Like, because we've been seeing aggressive and threatening over time, whose fault was that? You know what I'm saying? Like, whose fault was that we're seeing in this threatening and aggressive lens, right? Like, I mean, what else is going to happen when you push an animal back into the corner? You know what I'm saying? And not to equate us with being animals or whatever. I'm talking from a primal state, right? At this point, any type of animal, you back them into a corner, you beating them so hard and so much over time, what do you think is going to happen? You know what I'm saying? They're either going to run away. It's either fight or flight. They're either going to run away or they're going to bite back. So after all of this time that within the Black community, we've been, you know, stepped on, bruised, all these different things over the years. And then all of a sudden now, not all of a sudden, but like over time, people look at us as being aggressive. What do you think is going to happen, man? Like, and that's going into a whole nother tangent, man. I'm kind of getting worked up because I'm thinking about different things in reference to my lens and how I see, have studied things have happened over the years in reference to the Black community, and how passionate I am about like Black men in the family, like in the household in general. Which, going into another subject, I mean, we got to define what we consider to be like masculinity. Like, what does that really look like now? Like, what do we think masculinity is supposed to look like in order for it to represent the Black man in the Black community a certain way?
I'm glad you brought that up. I had the privilege of watching an observation taught by a white woman in my class, in my school, on toxic masculinity, and apparently it's actually in the curriculum in like English 12, and there was some solid, good questions being asked. And it was like some nice little TED Talk videos that were being used about toxic masculinity. And it was a lot of great points. And a lot of things that I thought about it was like, even I think a lot of us grew up in places, in environments where there was a level of toxic masculinity that is too far. So not to play devil's advocate on.
Can you just give an example of toxic masculinity as you define it?
So you don't show emotion. Toxic masculinity, like the toxic masculinity preaches men to, like, you can't cry, like so one of the guy that said one of the most powerful phrases that that's been used is "stop acting like a girl, man up, toughen up." When a man is just expressing emotion, and those are things that is often echoed, and they're not really healthy. They really aren't. The problem is the counter might be what that is, and I don't necessarily want that either. So it's just like
what's that you're talking
so the
about?
counter might be men appearing in feminine clothing and having feminine poses or etc.
Yeah.
I don't think that I'll have to go to that extreme in order to offset toxic. I believe toxic masculinity is a thing. I just don't believe that the opposite of it is to make a man more. I don't want to say feminine because that's also toxic masculinity. To portray roles that are normally possessed by women.
Hold on, making a man more feminine is toxic masculinity.
To say because what it is in the definition it is, because what you're saying is you're saying that you're basically saying that a guy, when he does stuff that a woman or a guy is lowering down to be a woman, and so
it's almost putting a projection as like the masculinity being up here and femininity being down
here, and that's not okay. And so
I get what
my
you're
issue
saying.
is thank you for saying it. So the issue comes from, instead of looking at one higher and one lower, just looking at them as they're on the same level, they're just different. Like this is and not to mention, realistically speaking, studies would show that both men and women have masculine and feminine traits.
For sure.
And in the most successful men, the most successful man and woman is a man who can exercise that feminine trait and that masculine trait when it needs to be exercised. So like literally you will go further. Like think about even like now, even as a father, if I embrace my son and his emotions and I'm able to have conversations with him from an emotional lens, I will make him a better man to his friends. I will make him a better man at his job, instead of him masking his emotions and not being able to exercise that. And that's traditionally seen as a feminine trait. Makes sense? And just like on the opposite side, teaching women to have more logic and not to be so emotional, I would actually further my daughter as well. Makes sense? So it's like teaching them to have the balance in the masculine and feminine traits is actually a good thing. And so I just feel like my whole central point is I think that dressing a man up, in layman's terms, dressing a man up and as a woman should not be the goal to make us less masculine, to reduce toxic masculinity. Because what we need to do is what Mike said, is redefine what does it mean to be masculine and have clear. So John, before you answered, the guy on the video was saying, masculinity is shaped by like how I treat my brothers, how I treat my mom, how I treat people, how I take up responsibility, how am I viewed on my deathbed by the people who've grown to love me and how I love them back. That's my masculinity. It's not how I beat my chest and was angry all the time, like how they think it is, So I don't know. It was a good. The point is, it was a good lesson, but I was more so impressed by my students, high school black males, who, in layman's terms, look the part of what most people consider like very thuggish, like all black, hoodies on, whatever it was, having the conversation, and I was just like, shoot, this is great. Because I don't remember being in
especially amongst the students,
amongst the students, and it was being taught by a white woman. So it to me, this was it was amazing to have these challenging conversations to the point where I wanted her to go further in the conversation. Like I didn't want this is a teachable moment to have a conversation of what toxic masculinity is and what it's not, and how it was just great, and I wanted to maximize that, But I get it, So I don't know. I just think to see that was promising because I don't remember being in that space as a 17, 18-year-old, like 16, 17-year-old, having conversations about toxic masculinity, let alone in school. Let's be very clear. let alone in that environment.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that, man, because I too can relate to that. Like I don't remember having those type of conversations when I was around that age, about like toxic masculinity, or even like what masculinity and femininity were, right? It was more so of a what you usually say, Terrence, like more things are caught than taught. So it was more of a what you catch rather than what someone actually teaches you, right? And it was something that we gained an understanding of based off of what we saw within our environment. But now, especially when we're in an environment now where people are more free to express feminine and masculine traits regardless of gender, we need to get to a point where we like clearly define what those things are. Like masculinity and femininity they're not just a spectrum of emotions, because we can sit back and as men we can sit back and cry, but that doesn't necessarily mean like we're being feminine for crying. No, we're just expressing a freaking emotion. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like I feel frustrated, or I feel sad, or I feel whatever within that moment, and I feel like crying. That's not necessarily a feminine trait. That's not a feminine thing to do. It's just an emotional response. So
Yet,
or
if
a
a
response
boy
to
is
an emotion.
crying, I'm saying, but yet if a boy is crying, not only will a man, but even a woman will tell him to like you need to suck it up, man up, and stop crying.
I got a question. What is toxic femininity?
I don't know if I've even heard the term being used.
Because I'm only asking because we tend to have these names and these things, and I'm hearing y'all say what it is. I don't know what I would even say because I would dare say if there's toxic masculinity, then I'm sure there would be something that would be considered toxic femininity. I would conjecture at least that there would be something that would be
there has to be some sort of like opposite on the spectrum, right? Like if there's a
right, like what's the
This
we
sounds like
seem
a
to
good
never
topic
dive into
for
that.
another episode. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal already asked, would you be able to facilitate a continuation of this conversation? And absolutely, Jamal. That's what we're
I
here
think he
for.
might have been referring to me and my students. I think you gave like he wasn't.
No, I don't think
He
he's
wasn't
talking
talking
about that.
about you and your
But
little
either
podcast.
way, no, I'm pretty sure he's talking about toxic.
Oh, good job.
femininity.
She said you don't need no man.
Yes, that one.
So I agree. So like, what's crazy is that
Reference to
I had
toxic
checked
femininity.
out. Has anybody here checked out the Woman King?
Yeah.
Not yet. I need
So
to see that, man.
I checked. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Check it out
For free.
It's on Netflix now, for free. But it's not free because you're paying for it. But
yeah.
toxic
He's actually using my account,
Netflix
so
as
Mike's
well.
not paying for it.
You'll be paying next month. So here's the deal. The idea behind it though is this idea of like this portrayal, right? That women are the dominant factor in this movie. I mean, I'm not going to give anything away, but basically the men are the more dominant sex. This really is a woman, and the woman, it's like at the end of the movie, you'll see why. But the bottom line that I'm trying to say is that to Patty Cake's statement, you don't need no man. Some would say that, and that I'm not saying this is Patty Cake saying that it's toxic femininity to say you don't need a man.
Homie.
I think
you don't need the
that's
homie. The homie.
that's something that's been perpetuated in our culture more commonly now. Now that's why I brought up Woman King, because I felt like that movie, along with even Black Panther, that kind of perpetuated this narrative of we can do it. We can take on this role. We don't even need the man to be the protector. We're the protectors. We protect them even, right? So the things in which that used to be the characteristics of what was the masculine thing to do has now been portrayed through the woman lens. And it's just interesting. The more we get down this road, I'm just trying to figure out, well, where is this headed? Because like to Terrence's point, Terrence said it's a couple times on podcast, and I've never said anything against it or for it, but it's been more like thought-provoking, where he would say, and it's rare that I would even say that about Terrence's statement, but that he would say that if somebody's mark this day, but he would say somebody's gonna like break down the door, am I as a man in this new culture be able to say, oh, I'm gonna sleep in my bed? you go check and see who's at the door, and you go see who's at the door, like type thing. Because now in this new culture, you're the protector, right? You no longer need a man because whatever the man will provide, the safety and all that, all roles have been switched. All roles, right? All roles have been switched in this new world order. And what do you do when that's the case? And how what are the conversations that you have when you're talking about like safety concerns in the house?
Yeah,
this is good.
So I don't know if you had anything. Go ahead, Mike. We can wrap this episode up. But go ahead.
I think it would be cool if we could have this conversation a little more in depth. I mean, we're running out of time here. Ben ran over time, but if we can continue something like that about.
I think it should be a dope episode.
Yeah, honestly. Masculinity, femininity.
I'm actually interested to know why. I mean, Substance is a reach. Black Panther's a reach. I don't think it was a reach. I mean, when it comes to the role, because she was. Now I heard that she was. It was already in the comics, right? I guess it's
the Dora Milaje is actually based off of what the characters in A Woman King were. The Woman King is a true story.
Right.
The Dora Milaje and Black Panther are based off of that concept of a woman fighting for us.
Well, but he's saying Black Panther was a reach.
Yeah, I'm disagreeing. I don't think it is a reach because, I mean, even though it's a comic, they're still based off of a true. They're true based off of a true fighting force that existed in history. I mean, both movies have gone. Both movies are a little, make it a little bit grander than what it really was, but it's still a true story. There was an all-woman fighting force in that particular group with Dahomey in Africa.
Elise says, I don't think that was the message of the movie. I don't know if it was. I actually don't. I don't think it might not have been the message, and I think it's kind of what Terrence was talking about before, like intended
it's
versus
the unintended curriculum. There's the intended curriculum versus the unintended curriculum.
Interesting.
Seth said that is why it was a reach because they were based on things that actually based on a sort of reality. Okay, so basically, like because it was already written in comics and they just did it.
They just did it,
There are
regardless
also
of whether he passed away or not.
There are also some things that the director alluded to in reference to, like, John, your point, as far as like showing how women are the protectors, right? And the director's initial script was more so about like a father and son's journey. So if you think about like the first Black Panther movie, it was about like, how is this son going to move on without his dad? And when Chadwick Boseman, if he was still alive, the script of the movie would have been totally different. It would have been about him like having his son and taking care of his son in the midst of trying to take care of this kingdom, like his newly found son. So for the script to get switched up all of a sudden, granted, yes, he passed away, God rest his soul. Chadwick Boseman, with him passing away, they had to switch it up. But the fact that they went this totally different direction is like he had some gripes about that, and he didn't necessarily agree with it. So
yeah,
I think there was some subliminal stuff there, to be honest.
I love it, man. This was a great conversation because I think we have worked our way into another one for another episode where we talk about toxic femininity, something that's very unpopular in the culture. Like, what would that even be? I would hope you guys think about what that would be so that we can have a really good conversation about that. Because as we just said earlier, as Mike said earlier, there's got to be an inverse to the thing that we're saying toxic masculinity is. There has to be some sense of toxic femininity. And these things are never discussed, but here on this podcast, we talk about it all. And today was no exception. We talked about Rhi Rhi, we talked about Prego, talked about A$AP Rocky, and the fact that he's running behind his wife and he's not a head breadwinner in his family, and that's okay in this culture today. And let me tell you something. I'm okay with the woman being a billionaire. I'm not gonna be mad at that at all. You be a billionaire, I'll be at home. But as far as this episode is concerned, we're done. We had a great time talking about a bunch of great things. And if you guys want to ever check us out again, you can always go to anywhere where platforms are streaming. We are on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes. And you can always leave a review. We stopped saying that, but we still want you to do that. So if you love us, care about us at all, please leave a review. Tell people how great we are because it helps us in our ratings as far as trying to be higher on the totem pole for Apple iTunes. At this time, man, I'm still John Jones. What's going on? I'm still John Jones. Who are you guys?
I'm still Mike. Just Mike.
Still Mike. All right.
And yeah, I kind of want to end it with another joke, a really bad joke, actually, a horrible joke. What kind of poop does Meg the Stallion produce?
Oh gosh. What kind of poop does Meg the Stallion
I'm not even gonna
produce?
answer what that first came to my mind. What kind, Terrence?
Real hot girl shit.
Oh my
All right, guys.
God.
So that's been another episode of the Relentlessly Real Podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining it. Peace. I don't even know what to say to that.